Djungleskogs Loki division versus the Trash Pandas Loki division. And as you can already see, we're already into the game. I am Freaky G, and here casting with me is Mammoth. And as you can see on the screen, Noxus has done himself a kill in the solo lane. But Mammoth, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
Great. Anyways, so going straight into this. Got a nice double stun over here in the duel lane. Looks like the heat has turned up before the 5-minute mark, and we didn't miss too much, thankfully, but missed enough that I think it mattered.
Yeah, I just missed a bit of a gank into the solo lane, it looks like. So first blood going over to Hunbat. Okay, I got... Yes. I was looking at the sides for a second, I was like, where is it? Oh, it's on the Hunbats, yep. So that'll be good for him, get that early pressure, early item.
Yeah. Our lovely cameraman works on getting these cameras right, getting these names right for us, I should say.
That was almost a really good stun up by the Tiamat. Catching Scylla out under tower right by that big creep.
So it looks like we didn't get to see the bans, but it looks like picks went about what you would expect from normal teams, although I think the Cerberus solo might be a little off the mark, but a good knock.
Oh, getting caught out, Cupid.
Dash. Nice.
Good
Auto
poison
attack.
damage by the Medusa there, getting that kill.
MiatsuZ getting the first return kill for the Trash Pandas. And I was going to mention, by the way, this Trash Pandas roster, basically a whole new roster.
Yep.
Had some issues leading up to this week that ended up having this entire roster being changed except for 2 people, those 2 people being SatinGraph and MiatsuZ. This game also is a battle for first place, if I do remember saying so when we were getting ready to get into the game.
Yeah, Trash Pandas is 7-0, Skogs is 6-1. So if Skogs take this set, then their first seed is in their own hands. They just have to win next week. But if Trash Pandas win, they're locked.
In. Yeah,
they're guaranteed first seed. Because I
normally
believe, I will check, Skogs are the only team that is 6-1 right now.
Yeah. By the way, normally I do this when we aren't already on stream, but are you better about like team fight casting, or are you more of an analysis?
I can take the lead on team fights.
Okay.
Yeah, Skogs
That's
are the
normally
only
what I
other
do.
team that is 6-1. So if Trash Pandas win, their first seed is locked.
So
But Hunbat's getting Fear No Evil under the tower. iiZakore is just going to die under tower. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But good early kills on the solo side for Skogs. Going to get this Hunbats and Cerberus ahead early.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I had a bit of a lag spike there, so didn't really get to see the whole fight. But yeah, just another kill in the solo lane.
Yep, Fear No Evil burns, so gank potential is going to go down for a few minutes, so the Scylla can feel a bit safer. Something
about this Hunbots too that I kind of like seeing. You know, there's a joke somewhere about me with Hunbots, but we're not going to go too deep into that one. But yeah, I like the pick, but what I find very interesting is, have you seen his starter item pickup here?
I have. I was just about to ask you about that. I'm like, mana conception on Hunbats. Okay, that is interesting.
I do like the Jotun's Rush, though, from both of the jungles. It's just, unfortunately, I'm just not seeing any action from Mr. JuicyJimmy here. Usually with your Ravens, like, Hunbot's probably waiting to about level 5, but with your Ravens, you're trying to get going, like, minute 1, trying to get a cringe gank on the solo lane, duo lane side, you know, level 3 gank. We're not seeing that from JuicyJimmy. It looks like he's content to just farm and try and keep pace that way.
Yeah,
doesn't really look like it's working.
Especially with the blink start, he could have just immediately gone into mid and blinked on it, but it looks like he's going to start to make some work onto this Cupid in the dual lane, but it appears Cupid's just going to dash out. Ravana did blink in for that, so that will be the blink down. But Fear No Evil going to be stopped by the Petrify. Fields of Light coming down. Everyone's just trying to get a piece of the action here in mid lane. Tiamat gonna get poked out in the jungle here, and it looks like everyone's just gonna start to make their way back.
You saw the pings coming out too when Hunbots was making that rotation. He stepped over a ward, I believe, so they knew he was going to
Ganesh is just gonna walk on up right into a Cupid Heart Bomb and just insta-die. I'm a Monster coming out, getting nobody. Tiamat gonna jump in, get the kill onto Jimmy. Skogs are just gonna walk away with a 2-for-1. That went all kinds of right for the Djungleskogs there. And they're gonna look for the Gold Scorpion now. That goes down clean as a whistle. Nobody's gonna be able to do anything. Who did I lose? Or actually, I know who I lost. Extreme is still going. A nice about 2.5k gold lead for the Skogs early here.
Sorry about that. Discord crashed.
No worries.
I
heard the bloop and I was like, I lost somebody.
Yeah, that was me. So what all did I miss in that engagement? All I remember was seeing, the last thing I saw was Tiamat jumping inside a Ganesh ult. And that was
yep. So they picked Ganesh and Jimmy for a 2-for-1 and then went and got the Scorpion. And Hunvets is going to be going into a Hydra's here, which I love.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely one of the better, one of the gods that makes the best use of Hydras. He already has a Hydra's passive in his god kit. The passive is already there as his passive as a god. So just
you're getting double Hydra
doubling up. Yeah, exactly. Just great item for him, and so pretty standard, I guess you could say. Meanwhile, our friend JuicyJimmy looks like he's gonna go into some early defense here. What do you think of that?
Honestly, with the way the game's been going and how he hasn't been very aggressive, I can see the thought process, but I don't like it. Like, you're just trying to be aggressive early, and Fear No Evil coming out. He's trying to get the blue buff invade, but he has to burn the Somersault Cloud. Doesn't get the invade, gotta get out. MiatsuZ's gonna get a solo kill onto Sypha. Okay, and I saw the Wukong low HP at the bottom, and turns out it's just the clone. Could have fooled me. But tries to go for a blue buff invade, gets the Fear No Evil out, uses his ult, so his safety in lane's gonna go down a bit. Now they're just gonna fight over this totem.
Who do you think gets this totem?
Cerberus.
No.
Oh, maybe. Oh, he didn't get the stun. If he hits the stun there, he should get it.
That's unfortunate.
He's not gonna eat the red buff for his support.
He's got a green buff now.
Poor Cerberus.
Oh, come on now.
Oh, ult coming out by the Cerberus though, doesn't get the stun again. Just walks out 1 HP.
Just missing out on a small amount of damage, but not landing that stun. This Ganesh going in again though.
Yeah, going in alone isn't the best idea, especially as Ganesha when, yeah, all the damage is going to be coming onto you. So yeah, your carries aren't taking it, but your carries aren't there. They're not going to take it anyways.
And speaking of carries, I've been looking at the builds still, just trying to get a feel of where we're at in this game. If you haven't noticed, you know, we've been seeing a lot of this bow build here lately as a solo kill in the
Mylantson
solo
getting
lane.
a solo kill. Hunbats is looking for the red invade, but they're not going to commit onto it. The red's already long gone. They're kind of just hanging out here, not doing a whole lot of anything.
Looks like they had
the oracles.
They might have lost ward coverage. I feel like they had a ward on it, and then they blew down the red buff, and then they come around with this idea of a timer because the red buff had a ward on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Looks like they lost track of a timer there, so that's unfortunate for them. But back to what I was saying about the builds. Medusa, if you're looking at her build, bow build's not really what she's looking at right now. As a matter of fact, I'm seeing a very heavily ability-based build, not just a transcendence build like you'd see on a normal carry build. No, this is a very, in fact, ability-based build on this Medusa right now.
This is looking like a very mid-lane Medusa build. Which, I mean, honestly, if you're playing Medusa early game, you're playing through the abilities. So
Well, MiatsuZ has looked really strong this season, and I wouldn't put it past him to make some kind of crazy decision on a build that he thinks would benefit him mostly. And the other
Lance
thing that I
taking
find,
the first tower in solo though.
yeah,
Pre 15 minutes. That's a good look. If they take this mid one, there's nowhere to run on that right side of the map if they go for a pyromancer, and the fight starts to go bad for the Pandas.
which that's kind of like where I start looking at here is we're not really seeing a lot of ward coverage on the right side of the map. So if either team tried to sneak this pyromancer away, it'd kind of be pretty free. And I mean, that's exactly what both of these teams are trying to do right now. It looks like they're struggling to find a grip in the jungle for an objective play right now. Most of the ward coverage being on the left side where the Gold Fury is. That's where you want your wards, excuse me, at this point in the game. But who do you feel like, based on comp, would be like in the best position to try and pull gold here and try and maybe force a fight, or even force the or even just try to pull it away and just take it?
Is Fear No Evil up? Yes, Skogs. No, Trash Pandas. It's going to be very reliant on the Hunbatzel, because you try to pull it like this, and then you can just either force them away with it, you can drop it on them and commit to a fight, because you also have the Fields of Love, you have the Cerberus ult.
Here comes the fight now.
Fafnir's going to ult. Still ult used way too early, but Skogs still get it. Fear No Evil comes out, they're going to be jumping in, getting a double kill for Noxus onto the mid laner and the support, and they're just going to run down left lane now. This tower is free. Oh,
There
they're
is a
going
bit
to
of
the
a
mid too
problem.
early. Server is still taking a ton
no.
of damage. Everyone's getting super low under this tower. They didn't wait for minions or anything, and Tiamat's getting picked by Wukong in the jungle. He's going to fall. Wukong's going to jump in, and this is looking really good for the Skogs now.
I was just going to mention that too before they went for the re-engage, but they went just a little faster than I was ready for. Every ultimate was used on the side of the Skogs to confirm that Gold Fury, and then they continued the engagement while there were 3 ultimates up on the side of Trash Pandas. Trash Pandas played a really intelligent game there, knowing that even though they lost the true objective, if they kept the engagement going, they could win off the re-engage, and that's exactly what they did there, and paid huge dividends for them in the end. Actually, probably equaling out that Gold Fury loss that they had initially.
Yeah, they probably just flat evened it out, because they lose the Gold Fury, and Noxus does get a double kill, which feels really good. But then they just lose the fight after, because they just rush to the tier 1 tower without being fully prepared for it, not even as 5, because Tiamat's getting picked in the jungle by Wukong, who has Transcendence.
Okay.
Give me your thoughts on this Wukong build. Shogun's Kasari, Transcendence into one of the hammers.
So, I mean, we see it pretty common with Wukong's, where we see these kinds of like Wukong's not your typical solo laner in the fact that he almost gets built like an assassin, but his mobility allows him to kind of tank it up like a normal solo laner. He can maneuver a little bit better than your average warrior. Hold on.
Not going to be a whole lot coming from this. Fear No Evil does come out, but doesn't even force the bees or the Aegis out of the Medusa.
Very good patience from MiatsuZ there. But anyways, as I was saying, the Transcendence probably going to be his only main power item if he's going to build any power at all. Transcendence is just going to be an item that gives him a ton of power, gives him some mana. It's going to help out with
fight
any
going
kind
on
of mana
break
problem.
out in the jungle. Ravana blowing everything onto this. Is he going to follow him with the ult? Nope. It looks like he wanted to, but couldn't get it exactly where he wanted to get over that wall.
I don't know. That wall's really thin. I think he probably had it. I think he was afraid of the commit because he doesn't have a ward directly on that side of the wall, so he couldn't see who could have been hovering around the Gold Fury pit. So maybe just, I'd like to think maybe just really good patience there from him just to understand that he could chase down Noxus in that situation, but just decided not to.
They're going to be rotating over to the Pyromancer now, or the Pandas, and they're going to start it, but Skogs know what's going on. They get a ward dropped on them.
Yeah, this is where the fight's going to get really interesting, too, because they don't have a ward.
Blinks in, gets the ult off, stunned by the Tiamat, and they're just going to burn this Wukong. forcing the somersault cloud. Fafnir's gonna ult up. Ravana blinks in, has the bubble, not forced by the knockup. Stunned by the Fafnir, Fear No Evil.
Oh wow, what a combo! Yeah, I
beautiful CC chain.
I have to bring that one up. That was beautifully played by all of them. And Noxus, it's very rare you find a jungle that plays Hunbots. Let me rephrase that. It's very rare you find a Hunbots in the lower divisions, even struggling in Thor. You're always seeing these Hunbots try to find these big team fight ults that are going to hit the whole back line or hit the whole team even. Noxus just understands at that moment, we just need to kill this guy. So he just drops the ult for the kill. Perfect placement on his part. Very rarely
right into the Pyromancer.
Yeah, and very rarely do we see Hunbots make those kinds of plays. It's not common that you're gonna get that kind of interaction. Like I said, even from a Thor player, and there's eating the red buff like you were saying.
Yep. Yeah, and it's the same thing in mid lane. Like players all the time. Players all the time will be like, "Oh, okay, I need to hold my ult. I need to get a big like 4-man Kraken." It's like if you just like get one kill with your Kraken and you force that into objective, that's worth it.
By the way, if you were listening to me, I'm sorry, I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
No, I was.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, if you were listening to the little commentary I added about the build, you were asking me about the Sun Wukong build. That's how I feel about it. He's gonna try to do damage. He is nowhere near tanky enough, especially since he's only got magic defense. Tiamat still burned him up.
The Djungleskogs are gonna start pulling the Primal Fury, critting it down, but Fear No Evil's just coming up off of cooldown. Fields of Love dropped. I'm a Monster gonna secure it. Nope. Frenzy pop. They're looking to run in after now and get this fight. Oh, but Ravana's just gonna fall for that. He just jumped in on his own as his team was trying to disengage. But now they're not even fully disengaged yet. Now the Wukong's gonna fall. Doesn't even get the somersault cloud off.
And there again, that problem with that build only has Sledge, no physical defense, sitting on only a small amount of health, maybe 300-400 in the build. Sun Wukong does not have the same type of scaling. Contrary to popular belief, Sun Wukong does not have the same type of scaling as the other warriors do. He really depends on some kind of secondary form of sustain or defense to really help him out, especially out of mitigations. Noxus, you better not back there. There you go, buddy.
This time they do get the tier 1 tower after going for the Fury. They got a big fight after, got 2 picks again, but everyone else from the Pandas were too low to defend the tower that time.
So, and I really like the level of like team play that we see in that situation. You can really tell in that moment, Skogs like basically took notes from the last Gold Fury play that they pulled, where they tried to take the fight after, said, "Hey, this is what we did right, but this is what we did wrong." And then they took all those things, fixed all their mistakes, and then in the course of that, also played really well around some of the major mistakes that the Trash Pandas team made.
Yep, and now 9,000 gold lead, just under 10k. 20 minutes in, they can start posturing for a Fire Giant if they want to.
Absolutely.
They've got the team fight in jungle. They've shown they've been winning these fights. They don't even have to full commit to the Fire Giant if they want to. They can just pull them in and be like, "Hey, we're doing it, come on in."
Bait them right in and just make them fight.
Yeah, just pull them on in, be like, "Hey, if you don't show up, we're gonna do it, come on." And then just don't even commit anything onto the Fire Giant. Just auto it down. If they don't show up after a while, sure, burn your kits onto it and secure it. But if they show up, turn and burn on them.
I wanted to point out here, by the way, that both of these carries have opted for 2 very interesting builds, especially with the combination of Odibo and Crit, which, by the way, I find very meh. You're missing out on a lot of power with that build. You're a carry main, so you tell me what the problem really is. Oh, you're a mid main? I always see you play carry. You play carry a lot more than I do, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. The issue with the Cupid build, yeah, you're swinging hard. Yeah, you're hitting the squishies real hard. You're gonna kill the squishies. if a tank walks at you and you're on your own as Cupid, there's not a whole lot you can do. Like, you've got 0 pen unless you're getting the crits off, and then you got 10%.
Well, he's got 10%, you know.
He's got 10% if he crits. Which right now, I believe he's only got around 35-ish%.
I'm not really liking how Skogs are posturing around this fire giant, though. Sorry to kind of just change the subject on you. I was just noticing how Noxus was sitting right there pushing in those waves, and even looked like he was going to commit onto the tower. But he's in a really bad place right now, and they're going to try to pop that bubble on him, actually.
Wukong's going to get some damage off, but
look at
doesn't
this.
pop the bubble. But Skogs gets the Pyromancer in the process while everyone's looking at him. Now he's just going to heal up off Cupid Hearts.
And that's how you can tell that there's a lack of ward coverage on from both sides, no, not on both sides. I think mainly just good communication from Noxus to say, hey, there's like 3 guys on me. If y'all pull Pyro, they're not going to be able to just walk over there and stop you. And then Trash Pandas just didn't have the ward coverage that they needed over there by Pyro, and all of a sudden the Pyro's just gone, and you knocked Noxus, you knocked Hunbots down to about, I don't know, 90% health, and Cupid literally just healed it back up. Like, it just really bad ward management on the side of Trash Pandas there.
Oni Fury's coming up in about 30 seconds. What I would absolutely love to see is the Skogs riddle that entire side of the map with wards. Get the Oracle, drop 5 sentries on that side of the map. You so much as see 4 Trash Pandas pop up on those wards, burn the Fire Giant.
Yeah.
Because you know where they are at that point. You know they can't show up because they're going to be thinking you're at the Oni Fury. But they're going to go for the Oni Fury. They're going to go for the safe call. Can't say I expect. Fear no evil, though, coming out. And they're just going to secure the Oni Fury at this time. He's just stalling for time.
And you know, in most cases, you know that's that kind of play that you see in your ranked game, and you sit there and go, "Why did my Hunbots do that? Why did he put him in that position?" But in this particular spectrum, that was a really good play from Noxus again. Just solid play from this guy right now. And just every time I see him doing something, he's stalling, he's positioning himself awkwardly to force these Trash Pandas players to make some kind of mistake or to focus in on him whenever the real objective's going on somewhere else.
Yeah,
just really smart, and I can't tell if it's intentional or not. Yeah, there you go, the iRapper playstyle. I like that.
See, I'm gonna put myself in a weird spot. Cool, you kill me, you don't. My team's either gonna get a big objective off it, or kill all of you. Like, that was Rapper's claim to fame on the Energy days. You'd think he's hard-hinting, but they're gonna go in here, Somersault Cloud Force, Cerberus ult out. Solo lane ult for solo lane ult. Ganesha is gonna pop ult, and Fields of Love coming down, and everyone. I'm a Monster's popped. The Wukong's gonna fall. I'm a Monster not finding a home, but gonna kill the Hunbats.
That's extremely unfortunate, though, from Trash Pandas. I don't think that Ganesh ult was calmed very well from them, because they're
gonna keep on going in, and they're gonna pick up the Ganesha.
Oh, no.
But Ravana's gonna jump in on the back and pick up the Cupid. Tiamat's low. Everyone's starting to get low on the side of the Djungleskogs. They're gonna have to start backing up.
In case y'all didn't know, I was saying oh no for him because he jumped in with ult like he did the last time and missed. And I was extremely concerned that he was about to die again, but he managed to turn that one around and pick something up.
If for 2 trade, honestly, that by far goes the way of the Pandas.
Oh yeah.
You lose your solo laner and your support, and you pick up the 4-in-1 Hunbat, so that's a nice little gold bounty there on SatinGraph. And then you pick up the Hunter. Like, that's just all in all a trade that you take every time.
Yeah. I mean, you can see right here in the graphs that's being showed by our lovely cameraman.
The XP graph has
good. Yeah.
That's almost cut in half. And then a nice little gold chunk down too. Most of it off the kill bounty.
So definitely a good play from Trash Pandas to group up there, and again, you know, we were talking about what we were missing from JuicyJimmy in the early game, but he's definitely slowly starting to make up for it here in the late, as he just continues to make good plays and just find himself in the right positions, coming in off the back of fights and cleaning up something. Really good plays from him, and that's what I want to see from my Robin in the late game. You know, find that squishy in the back line after the fight's already over, clean him up when he has no relics, no ultimate. You know, just free kill. Good plays from him. Both these
Skogs have
junglers are
full
actually
vision
playing
control
really well.
too. They're just placing so many more wards than the Pandas.
Yeah, they definitely losing the ward battle. Talking about the trash Pandas.
It's 17, 17, 17, 15. 4 Skogs on top, all almost at 20.
Solo laner on the side of Skogs that's hurting the ward count right now, and you know, someone who plays solo myself, I'm just gonna say, you know, we don't place wards. Don't know what those things are.
Solo laners aren't warding a whole lot. I would like to see a bit more at this point. You've been out of lane for a while, but still, that's 4 on top for the Skogs, and then most of the Pandas, and then you've got the solo laner and support.
Well, you know, your solo laner, you kind of are a ward, you know? You don't have to buy wards whenever you literally just walk
Skogs are going to pull the Pyromancer. This should be... Oh, but Ravana's going to try and steal it. Skogs get it anyway. Not a whole lot committed. Just a Pyromancer. Not too concerned. Primal Fear is going to be up in about a minute.
Yeah, and that's a tough one for Trash Pandas to do because, I mean, they all have really good abilities on their
They're gonna blink in for the Ravana. Gets a lot of damage off. Forces the ult. He's gonna jump in after it anyway. Forces the Ravana blink, and everyone. And Somersault Cloud is forced. Scylla's gonna try and get some poke out. Puts Tiamat to half health. Ravana's low HP. He's got to run away. Scylla's about at half. Gets all the damage off. Ganesha forcing the ult. Feels the love used in the back.
No target selection. What's going on here?
Wukong Blink using the 72 transformations, tries to get the stun on Cupid, forces the bees, but he's just gonna fall, it looks like.
Finally, there we go.
Wukong finally falls.
Yeah, very awkward fight all around. Like, both teams, no target selection, extremely spread out, a lot of overextending. Ultimates used, and oh, hold on.
Cupid's gonna get out on 1 HP. Gonna try to heal himself up in the back, and everyone's just gonna start running away. Everyone.
I have to point it. I have to give this man props. That was a hell of an Aegis.
Yeah.
That was one of the best Aegis I've ever seen. Best use of. That's hard to say. That is one of the best uses of Aegis I've ever seen. Ever. There is no asterisk there. That is
honestly,
the best use of Aegis ever.
Cupid could probably walk over in solo primal.
You think so?
Maybe.
Maybe.
He's got the fully evolved rage. He's got some lifesteal in the cowl. He's got the attack speed. He's got the crit. He can heal with his own hearts. He might be able to.
So, anyways, what I was trying to, I think I remember what I was trying to say earlier about, I was rudely interrupted by these teams trying to fight each other.
Skogs have to be careful here. Okay, they are gonna send 2 back. I was gonna say they all just walked away from an EFG, and the enemy team has a Scylla. Yeah, and the Pandas are just gonna walk onto the CFG now.
Yeah, this is this is a really weird call.
The 2 biggest teamfight ults in Cupid and Hunbats just walk away from the EFG.
Look at the health bar. It's. I think Trash Pandas is actually trying to bait this, and now they've only just now realized.
Scylla has to secure this with the I'm a Monster, but the health bars are getting low. Scylla popped that way too early. The Pandas are gonna see that. They're all gonna die for it.
Oh no.
Medusa falls. Ganesha falls. Scylla falls. Ravana falls. The only one left is Wukong, and he doesn't have an ult. Yeah, Pandas, you got the EFG, but at what cost?
It's only a matter of time here. There he goes.
You got EFG, but you lost everyone in the process.
I mean, you know, it was a good attempt.
Honestly might be an end call. The 20 seconds on the Ganesha, and that's it.
It was a good attempt. I'll say that. It was a really good attempt from Trash Pandas. I think they were just a little too slow to realize that they could, in every way, just have burned that down. There was their only steal potential on the side of Skogs was on the other side of the map at that time. So, Trash Pandas made the right call, They just didn't execute it properly, it seemed, and that's why we're sitting here looking at the end screen. Game 1 going in the way of Skogs. What do you think about that?
They just took too long to burn that EFG. Like, you need to have a World on the Primal Fury because Hunbats and Cupid should not have been able to walk away from that. There should be no world where your two biggest team fight ults walk away from EFG 30 minutes when it's becoming EFG, and that does not go down.
Yeah, that's basically how I felt.
They've got good burn. Like, you can put the Ganesha ult on it to burn. You've got Medusa, who has decent burn with the poison stim shots. And then you've got Scylla ult and Crush to secure.
Yeah, it just seemed like just a little bit of hesitation on the side of the side of Trash Pandas there. They knew what was going on. They had a kind of an idea. It's almost like they knew what was going on, but they kind of started to second guess it. It almost felt like when you were watching the health bar slowly going down, like Trash Pandas was trying to bait a fight. But Skogs knew they couldn't take that fight, and realized, hey, they're not really burning this thing down. We don't have to go in there until they start actually hitting it. And then by the time Trash Pandas realized that there was no one there, it was too late. There's enough people around. They started engaging. Ganesh ult ended up being just a tad bit off the mark. Maybe if that thing would have hit just right instead of being a little to the side, probably would have made a big difference there. But unfortunately, just a little bit of, like you said, just ward placement really kind of costing Trash Pandas in that game a lot.
Yep, but we're going to be getting ready for game 2 here, seeing what adjustments be made. What picks do you want to see taken away or picked upon by the side of the Pandas?
On the side of the Pandas, I mean, I didn't really have an issue with anything on the Skog or on the Pandas draft. I think Pandas actually had a really good draft. I think what ended up hurting them the most was just was just builds. I mean, Sun Wukong just went for this Transcendence route, wasn't really that tanky, couldn't get his build online, and I mean, just wasn't doing enough damage with the build he had to make an impact. Same thing on the side of Medusa. Some good ultimates here and there, but I never seen the Medusa doing anything so crazy with this build, and the lack of attack speed might have played even a factor in how quickly they burnt down that fire giant. Just a few things wrong here and there. I guess if I wanted to change any pick, I guess change the Ganesh. I just feel like the Ganesh was kind of just a side piece that was placed into the comp, a placeholder. That's the word I was looking for. The Ganesh was basically just a support placeholder. Yeah. Didn't really fit the comp, but they needed a support. Ganesh tends to be a pretty good support in most comps. It just seems like he was a really awkward fit in this one because Trash Pandas were not really playing what I would call a dive comp. I mean, it felt like a lot more counter engage from them, and Ganesh cannot play like that. Ganesh is not a counter engage. He's not a zoning type. He is a diving type kind of god, and if you have no dive to support Ganesh in the dive, then Ganesh just kind of becomes somewhat useless.
I mean, they had fairly good dive. It's just the Wukong wasn't tanky enough to really dive. Because, like, Wukong wants to dive, Ravana wants to, like, they both want to just jump in. Because Wukong gets in there with 72 transformations. He gets low, he just ults. He's like, alright, I'm going to get another health bar, and then I'll just land on you guys again. Ravana just ults in and dumps his whole kit onto squishies. So they've got good dive. They ran into a Hunbat's ult.
Right. I think that's what I needed to see.
Diving against a Hunbat ult, you have to play it really well.
I think that's what I mean to say is that they had dive, but I think they just the support pick is what needs to change if they want the dive comp to work, especially if Hunbots is going to be on the table, which I'll add on to that. If Trash Pandas also wants to change anything about how this game went in game 2, that's going to have to go. I don't think you can let Noxus play that god twice in a row. I don't think so. But
did get off to a roaring lead.
But the Ganesh thing, I would honestly like to see it be traded out for like a Geb. You know, if you got a dive comp, Geb's not really a dive comp kind of god. Unless you're putting Blink on him, then he can turn into a diver, but then you're throwing your only form of peel CC and your shield out into the front line. It's not really what you're looking to do. But they had the Cerberus in the comp too, which easily best known for being one of the strongest diving guardians in the game. I mean, he just does it well, even though he needs Blink to support his deep dive attacks. A Geb in this situation honestly would have been. Oh no, wait, they didn't have the Cerberus. They had the Sun Wukong. I'm sorry, I got it backwards. But still, same scenario. Sun Wukong can kind of get pretty deep into the back line. Plus, with Geb in the mix against the Hunbots in that situation, I feel like shields aren't really going to be what helps you, but that peel, if Hunbots jumps onto your backline or jumps onto a target while you're nearby, you can just hit your ult button, and you're going to slow everything down from that Hunbots. Because that Hunbots ult is going to be timed out to, I'm going to land on him, I'm going to hit him, and I'm going to hit my ult. Now he's going to land on him, and now you're going to ult, and he's going to have to sit there and either do nothing or take damage. Most likely going to take damage. I just feel like the Ganesh really was just not it for that comp, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's good in the Hunbats in the sense of if Hunbats is trying to engage, Hunbats blinks in, you just immediately silence him. He's not ulting. He's not ulting your backline. And then you just get into the constant CC chain on him, and he doesn't get to ult the backline. They weren't ending up doing that though, because he would just get ults off whenever he wanted to. So either he was doing a good job at evading the Ganesha, or the Ganesha wasn't holding silence for the Hunbat's ult, which you have to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know. It could be a comfort issue, or it could just be, he could have really just been a victim of circumstance. I mean, there was a lot of things going on that forced Trash Pandas into some spots, and we saw some sparks, some flashes of greatness from them in some occasions. That first Gold Fury fight that we saw, we were impressed at how well Skogs handled that situation, and then Skogs overcommitted, and Trash Pandas tore him apart for a good second there. Same thing happened on the first Pyromancer that we saw Skogs pull. They just went in and then got the Pyromancer, and then again just a slight overcommit, and the next thing you know, Unbots is dead. Cupid ended up falling in that fight as well. Good cleanup from JuicyJimmy. So I mean, I think I said his name right. Was it JuicyJimmy?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So I mean, there was some really good, some sparks coming from this Trash Pandas roster, and I think if they clean up the play a little bit, try to focus on a little bit, get that ward coverage a little bit better on both sides of the map, they'll definitely help themselves in the long run, and maybe even pull this into a game 3.
Yeah, the potential's definitely there for them to pull it into a game 3, but
That's why it's hard to answer your earlier question. There's not really
if
a
the
conflict
Skogs
here.
play the way they just did, I find it very difficult. The chance is there, but the Skogs definitely are the hot hand going into this game.
And the Skogs, it doesn't help that you come into this game with this mental flip, and you got a new roster. Talking about MiatsuZ and SatinGraph, you got a new roster you're playing with. It's 3 brand new guys that you haven't been playing with all season, and then you've got the Skogs team coming in. This is the same roster they've had since the beginning of the season, since week 1, and they're the second place team, and they're hungry for a first place spot. They want that top seed. They want that bye week. I think it's a 2-week bye, isn't it? Don't catch me lying. I'm just saying, definitely a bye week at least.
They won't be in the gauntlet, and then
Yeah.
first seed should. The way it was talked about before is first seed gets a bye. I will look into that right now.
I know for sure that they at least get a first week bye in the
'Cause
playoffs.
they won't be playing in the gauntlet, and then first seed gets a bye past quarterfinals. So they go right into the semis. So that's after week 9. They won't be playing in the gauntlet, and they won't be playing in the quarterfinals. So that'll be a 2-week break where they can work on new picks, work on new comps, and they can just
Heck,
not
even
have
take a
to show
break if
anyone
they feel like
anything.
they need to.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the best
take
thing
a
to
mental
do. Just
break.
take a week, recharge the batteries. You got 2 weeks, you
But
know?
we are now in picks and bans. Persephone and Morgan Le Fay out the window. Artemis is also gone.
Wait. Where are you seeing this?
Gilgamesh, Odin, and Tiamat out the window.
Yemoja.
Fenrir. Cerberus.
Jordan, you gotta hit rescreen share. It's not sharing anymore. Yamoja picked up first pick by the Pandas, followed by Fenrir Cerberus on the Skogs. Do you think this is Fenrir? Did we think this is Fenrir support?
Oh, excuse me. That's a tough one.
Put the Cerberus back in solo.
Mylantson looked really good on the Cerberus. I don't think you need to change any of that at this moment. I think keeping him in the solo lane would be really good idea. It seemed like
Lanson like that. Okay, that's what it was.
a lack of a little bit of maybe a lack of lack of matchup experience on the side of Trash Pandas as well. Plus, Mylantson just looks really comfortable on the god. I feel like that's going to go back to the solo lane. The Fenrir, on the other hand, have casted a couple of games for the Skogs already, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I've only seen Palm Top Tiger play like 2 picks in the Guardian role, and Fenrir was not one of them. I do find this extremely early pick though to be a pretty good idea. Just because it's gonna force these guys to kind of pick different gods and go into other picks that have leaps and stuff that are gonna change up their draft a little bit. Also, it's gonna do things like make. I know what I'm trying to say. It's gonna force those beads a lot. Just another relic burner god. I
Also, a
won't
lot of
seeing it
flexibility
in
by the
support.
draft.
Yeah, and
Because Fenrir can go support or jungle. Cerberus can go support or solo. So
yeah,
you've got good flexibility in your draft already. You can flex those around. Be like, oh, we want a different support pick? Okay, put Fenrir jungle serve solo. Oh, we want a different jungle pick? Put Fen support serve solo. We want a different solo pick? Etc. Etc.
absolutely. But yeah, that's just from my experiences on the casts for Loki. I don't think that that's going to be a Fenrir support. It could be, but I haven't seen one yet.
I would love to see Fenrir support. As long as it's not against me, that is all I am worried about. Because Fenrir support against me, it is not fun. But if I'm watching
It's
the
worse
game,
than any Guardian.
any team can pick it. Oh, of course.
You just like in duo lane, especially that first 5 levels, you're just sitting there with the Fenrir on the other side of you, going, "I know what he wants to do. The question is, do I have the ability to stop it?" tough break over there in the duo lane when you see that god.
But well, they're getting loaded back into game 2 picks and bans. It's gonna be up to Trash Pandas now. They've got the next 2 picks. Rama's still up. A lot of mages are still up.
Mm-hmm.
Like Raigen's still up, Persephone's still up. I believe Morgan Le Fay is still up. I can't remember off the top of my head if she got banned in that top 6. She may have been though. I would not be surprised if she was.
Morgan Le Fay right now is a god that people are still trying to get the handle on. No one is really sure exactly where she sits in the meta. She is clearly right now a very strong character in the meta as far as mid laners go. She does a lot of damage. She has a really long sustained CC
Okay.
immune ult.
Oh,
So
cancel that. Morgan, Trash Pandas banned all the mages.
oh, they did.
They
Oh,
said you're not getting Tiamat, you're not getting Morgan, you're not getting Persephone.
and I mean, in all honesty, that seems like a target against the mid laner. But all three of these gods are just really strong meta gods right now. Doesn't and I don't even think these are targeted bans. Maybe the Tiamat, I mean, you could call it that just because they did let it through in the first game. But none of these bans feel like a targeted ban. I think these are three solid meta bans.
They're just like, you know what? Mid lane's a really good role right now. Lots of mages are really good. Let's get rid of 3 of them.
Yeah, I have no issue with what's going on there.
Honestly, if they're gonna do that though, they could leave one of them open and then just take it first pick. Now the Emoch is a really good top pick. Like she does a lot for the team. So I'm not opposed to, hey, ban 3 mages, take Umoja. But if they wanted to, they could have also banned Umoja and then like, oh, we want Persephone. Take it. While we wait to get back into picks and bans again.
It's like we're having some technical issues.
Yeah, people
Getting into the game right
potentially
now.
crashing when they get into P's and B's. Okay, so we know we've got all the hunters except for Artemis up. Do the Pandas take a hunter here for MiatsuZ? And if so, what do they take?
Yeah, I mean, top 3 picking a hunter right now isn't a terrible idea here, especially on the side of Trash Pandas. MiatsuZ had a good look on the Medusa. I just, like I said earlier, I feel like the build might have been holding the Medusa back a little bit there, but I don't play a lot of Medusa either, so I can't really like put my own. That's just my own thoughts.
Yeah.
So I think switching up the hunter here, Apollo really makes great use of the current meta builds. If you're not going for current meta builds, Apollo, in my opinion, is still just a really strong hunter. If you're looking for
Global alts are fun.
global ults are fun. That is also a very strong pick in that alone. If you want that powerful build that you were going for on the Medusa, but you need, say, something with a little more safety, or even just a little more oomph, Kernabog never really feels like a bad pick in my opinion, except unless of course you got some counter matchups in there.
I'd love to see a Heimdall.
Really?
Yeah.
See, and here's why I didn't say that, God. I hate Heimdall.
Heimdall smacks.
I hate that god. I can't help
Like,
myself.
A little bit of the numbers. So in the SPL, the top 3 most damaging single instances, like just one thing doing damage, 3 mage abilities. Obviously, mage abilities hit hard. The 4th highest instance of damage was a Heimdall crit at 1200.
Excuse me, I need to
Now, granted,
step away.
that was on a camp. That was not on another player. But still.
That is quite the crit, though.
So if it's on a camp, that's including mage abilities doing damage to camps.
That's fair.
That's a 1200
I can't
Heimdall
argue
crit.
with that logic at all.
Hit hard. And he's very safe. He's got the Bifrost to be able to get out of danger if he's getting ganked. Just place that under your tower, keep one by you, you get ganked, back under tower you go. The ult's really good at just the Naja effect, forcing someone out of a team fight for a few seconds. You've got a little mini 4v5, or if you're just trying to get a pick, ult them, be like, all right, team, they're landing right here, do all your damage.
Also, I wouldn't mind seeing a Donzaburo, especially if we see Sypha go back to the Cupid. I feel like Donzaburo has a pretty strong matchup into the Cupid if he times his ult correctly. Uses that ult to not only mitigate the damage from the Cupid ult and mitigate the cripple, obviously, but also just uses that ult for some return damage inside the Cupid ult. Just a really good matchup between those two picks right there.
Danzaburo wouldn't be bad into Cupid. On her and Rama also wouldn't be bad into Cupid.
Yeah, but on her just feels really tough right now.
Oh, he
Don't
does.
think just like it just does not really feel like he fits uh the current strengths in the meta. Just really weak. That's how I should put it.
Yeah.
Feels really weak right now. But anyways, that aside, I mean, on her obviously has a really strong matchup into Cupid. It's always been the favored. There are very few counters in Smite, but one of the biggest ones is always going to be on her versus Cupid, where on
Yep.
her is the obvious counter. So, yeah, I wouldn't disagree with the on her pick, although I still feel like Donzaburo is easily the better pick. If they do want that Donzaburo, they need to pick it here, though. They need to top 3 it. If they don't top 3 it, there's a very good chance it's either going to get picked or banned on the side of Skogs.
I'm not sure if they ban it. If they ban Huntress, they probably ban Izanami Rama because of how
Yeah.
well they work with the bow build.
Yeah.
Just toss Silver Branch on someone. Build Aussie. You can even build Ken's Aussie Xe, even though that's not the build, and just shred.
I have to say, I think also Rama just meta be danged when it comes to that god. He just seems to work all the
Yep.
time. I don't think I've ever
Ooh,
seen a bad instance for that
I
god.
like this raw hover here. They're gonna stack up on the healing. Yep, and they're gonna lock it in. Raw, you get the extra power, you get some extra protections. You got the flashbang. And Crash Panda's gonna be the ones going for the Hunbats here. Can't say I blame them.
I
They're
really like
hey,
the I really
worked,
like the idea there for
yeah, it
them.
worked really well for you last game. You didn't top 2 it. We're not letting you have it.
And JuicyJimmy looked really good on the Robin, and I feel like Robin and Hunbots have somewhat similar playstyle, except for obviously Hunbots is gonna make a much bigger impact in a team fight than a Robin will. But even still, kind of want to play the same. You want to ult on top of somebody, single somebody out, and then just kind of walk away as if nothing ever happened. So
Ooh, a Thoth being hovered. Battle of the Birds?
now this is an interesting pick, especially since Thoth recently got
Yup.
good buff, and we haven't seen a Thoth in a while. I don't think Thoth has a very high pick rate, not just in Valhalla. I don't think Thoth has a high pick rate in any comp right now. And
I don't believe so either. The On Her is gonna be banned. Leaning towards a potential Cupid pick here again.
good
Because they're
ban, but
like,
it's
hey,
just kind of throwing the idea of what you've got coming up. But maybe Trash Pandas are looking at it and saying, "Oh, we don't care. You can have the Cupid."
yeah, which honestly, I feel like they can let the Cupid go back. I don't think they need to ban it. The Athena
Athena ban.
ban. So they think that this Fenrir is in the jungle, which I can't blame them for thinking that. But I feel like the safe bet would have just been to ban hunters. Especially with MiatsuZ playing very well throughout the season.
Yeah, and maybe it's just assuredness plus Athena right now with the current Skogs comp would be terrifying,
And the
to say
Ymir
the
ban.
least. And that's a very much targeted ban, I'd have to say.
Yes. Ymir into Raw is very scary for the bird.
But we're gonna see finally what these picks are gonna look like after we finally get through these bans. Also, we kind of skipped over the Osiris ban there. That's something I really wanted to ask you about, by the way, especially since you're a much more learned player than I. What's the deal with this Osiris right now that's made him such a strong pick?
Mostly in the jungle, Mana Conceptor.
Really?
Mana Conceptor plus auto attack builds are good right now. He's got the mitigations on his passive. He's got a good dive ult.
Ganesh.
He's just got a lot that feels really good. And the Skogs are going to go for the Ganesha this game. Apollo being hovered here. They're thinking about, hey, we banned the Athena so you couldn't have... Ooh, Sylvanas. Okay.
Sylvanas. Apollo.
So they're... I need to see a lot of anti-heal early from the Djungleskogs. Oh, ducky. And now we're waiting on the last pick from Djungleskogs, seeing what they're going to go for. They need a hunter. Potentially the iiZakore. Definitely the iiZakore. Okay. They could have also gone for the Trinabog to match the global ult. They decided to go for the iiZakore for the pure shred. Which, honestly, Apollo's got better split push potential, obviously, with the global ult. But iiZakore doesn't have bad split push potential. She can shred a tower really quick.
I just want to point out with the Trash Pandas draft, there is such thing as too much of a good thing. And I feel like the Trash Pandas have managed to draft one of the most healer-oriented comps I've ever seen. And on top of that, you have two very immobile healers. You've basically set yourself up to get onked on repeat. And if I'm the Skogs, I'm just going to be flat out. There should
real
be
quick before we get into the game. I wanna ask chat. Put 1 in chat if you think this is Yemoja solo. Put 2 in chat if you think it's Sylvanas solo.
Oh. I'm gonna tell you it's Sylvanas.
Because we have Yemoja and Sylvanas. So we've got Phoenix goes, they should have had a prediction for it. So we've got 2 1s in the chat. So they're thinking Yemoja.
I really think that with how Sylvanas functions with Mana Conceptor right now, I really think that this is going to be a Sylvanas solo.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, and it ends up being a Yemoja solo, I also feel like that's just going to be a huge crutch. Or not crutch, a huge handicap to your team.
Vascular says 2, he's a Sylvanas main, insider sources tell me. Well, we will just have to wait and see.
But anyways, like I was saying, I just they picked 3 healers on top of them picking it into a Cerberus. I mean, these guys need to just triple, maybe even quad stack anti-heal. You've got Cerberus passive. There needs to be a tainted steel somewhere into either a tainted breastplate or a tainted amulet. I need
a Sylvanas solo.
2 cursed onks on this team. Someone's got to build a pestilence. There needs to be a ton of anti-heal, because if Skogs don't build enough, there might be enough healing on the side of Trash Pandas to just outlast everything that the Trash Pandas are going to attempt to do. And they have plenty of a damage potential.
Yeah.
A lot of burn. And they have good secure with the roll.
Yeah, Thothal is gonna destroy somebody before they can even heal. But
Minions have spawned.
Do you think there's enough setup?
Lanston's gonna have to hit a big ult or burn a lot of beads for not.
I was gonna point out the support pick here doesn't really feel like the biggest beads burning type support to me.
Yeah, but there's gonna be a lot going on around this healing, because raw heal at max 20 of each protections. 20 physical power, 30 magical power. That on its own is like, okay, decent amount of stuff off there.
That's like a tier 1, tier 2 item.
Yep.
Worth of power.
Sylvanas, 30 of each protection. So right there, if you're getting proc, that's 50 procs.
And you know he's gonna build Lotus Crown, so he's just gonna give his team even more protections on top of it.
Yeah, so if they're hanging out in these heals, it's gonna be healing plus a good amount of protection.
It's gonna be interesting to see how both these teams handle it.
Yep, but Trash Panda's already gonna be going for this Chad Harpy invade. They get it. Gonna get some decent poke out onto the support and the ADC respectively. Nothing too crazy so far. But
Not as soft.
We have a pause, or am I crashing?
nope. I mean, if anything, I think you're crashing then because nothing has paused.
I'm for it.
But Sylvanas did start with the Mannequin Scepter and went tier 1 ring.
Oh boy.
Okay. I feel like he's gonna be going into Hekate to get the passive off of that. I honestly have no idea. This is just crazy.
Seems like the Trash Pandas have just kind of gone for an all-out play here with the Sylvanas as well. I just don't want to see the Sylvanas fall into this trap of trying to deal damage. Like, I don't want to see a bruiser Sylvanas. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Gonna be fighting with the Cerberus. Sylvanas is getting kind of low. He's flicking between the green and yellow health. But just hanging out, clearing wave. And everyone's going to be going back to their first rotations of buffs. Unbat's ignoring his speed to make sure that Sylvanas' blue doesn't get invaded.
They really don't want this guy to fall.
No stun onto the Fenrir. Unfortunate. Some missed damage there, potentially leading into a kill, but the pull under the tower.
Good return damage from the Sylvanas there.
Yeah, and the Cerberus has no mana. He's just got to walk away. Honestly, he might be dead if Sylvanas had like killed an extra creep or two, because Sylvanas just ticked over to 5.
Yeah.
But Apollo gonna dash in, and they're gonna just look to get some good poke out onto the duo lane.
Very aggressive MiatsuZ right now, and I kind of like to see it on the Apollo. He's definitely a better god from ahead than every god is, but you know I feel like Apollo from behind is just a very hard god to play. Relying on your auto attacks solely for damage is a tough situation, and when you're playing that kind of character from behind, it never feels great. No. You want to talk about feeling like you don't do damage? That's how you need to play that god if you want to know what that feels like. Just play Apollo from behind. You'll never feel like you're doing damage.
Yeah. Pretty quiet game so far. Not too many fights being taken. Skogs got almost, or not Skogs. The Pandas have almost 1,000 gold lead though. For not a whole lot of anything going on.
Sypha
is Nami gonna get really low?
Yeah.
But not a whole lot comes from it. They just hang out in the back, just waiting for wave to get cleared. Alright, Humbats is 5. I want to see him try and force a beads. Like, even just blink ult the spot, burn the beads. That way, hey, you can come back down a minute or so and just ult him and kill him.
Yeah, and I mean, JuicyJimmy, we were talking about it in the last
buff invade. But Noxus is here, and they're just gonna full commit onto this Yemoja. Silence coming out, but Sypha's getting really low. But the Yemoja's gonna fall. And that's a good first blood for Noxus.
Blood going to the Skogs. That's the emoji going down early. And he used ultimate there, so not a good look for Warlock early on here.
They get the purple buff invade, but costs you first blood and cuts down the gold lead you had. You had almost 1,000 gold lead. Now it's back down to, you still got 400, but you started off good. You were getting all the extra farm over them, then you dropped the first blood. So most of that work is gone.
Other than that, though, other than the duo lane right now, this has been a very slow one. It took, in the last game, I think we saw the first blood coming out in the first 2.5 minutes of the game. Here we didn't see first blood until 5 minutes in, and it was off of an invade at that. So almost just kind of like bad circumstances on the side of Trash Pandas for that first blood to go down.
Yeah, slow game this game. Which, honestly, on the side of the Pandas, you're not even upset right now.
Oh.
Like, you've got a bit of a lead, but not a whole lot's happened. With their comp, you're looking to play late game. You drop 3 healers, you're like, give me a 40-minute slugger, and we are good to go.
By the way, we have our answer finally on what ring Sylvanas was looking to go into, and it's Demonic Grip.
I don't like that.
No?
I'm gonna be honest. I do not like that.
Oh,
Ooh, Hunbats jumps in mid lane. Cerberus jumps out in solo lane.
Oh, he almost died.
Brawl coming out, but Jimmy falls to J-Man. And Fenrir's gonna drag the Sylvanas into tower. Lanston also drops ult just to make.
He got the ult off.
He did get the ult off. I was
Either
there,
an ult or a tick heal.
I was like, was it a mannequin proc? Was it the ult? But yeah, he ult off there. Maybe the heal as well and some mannequin procs makes him fall. Really good trade for the Sylvanas.
Hey, you know, if you're gonna die, you need to just at least make sure you're going out.
Someone with you.
Yeah. And I mean, perfect example from iiZakore there, and we're seeing him go into the breastplate. Shogun's Kusari, most likely. He could go into a Genji's.
With the demonic crypt, I'm expecting to see a Shogun's. Is what I would guess. It's not what I would like, essentially, but it's what I would guess.
I just hope that this isn't going to be similar to the Sun Wukong build, because if I'm being completely honest here, and I typically am on cast, I was not a fan of how the Sun Wukong's build was.
The jungler's going to meet up in the jungle.
Good brutalize.
Oh, very good brutalize. Pops the ult, is going to grab him, just immediately drops him to get more damage off, which I love. Not enough Fenrir's do that if they are in a one-on-one.
It was a good play from Noxus, catching JuicyJimmy out in his jungle. Oh, you're trying to take my farm? Well, I'll just take your life.
All right, you take my small backs, and I'll take you. But another early lead off, and that's what you want to do on the Fenrir. You want to get ahead early. You want to be making plays. You want to be jumping in. The Panda's a little bit late on the Oracle's rotation. But Sypha gonna lose a bit of this wave to tower. But now Noxus is the one caught up in the enemy jungle. Fear no evil popped, but he's gonna fall anyway. Hunbat's got low, but he's out on his own. He can't be doing that, and that's a good return kill for Jimmy.
I think this Ganesh is going to fall down right behind him as well. The slow from the jump is going to make sure he stays in one place. And it's a huge roll through the wall.
Beautiful ult by SatinGraph. Cerberus ults, and everyone needs to just walk away at this point if you're on the side of the Skogs. Noxus and Pomtop got picked where they should not have been.
You just lost both of your rotational roles. On rotations, being aggressive inside the enemy jungle. Yeah, this is not a fight you want to take.
No. Ooh, the Apollo gonna dash in aggressively. Gets really good damage off of that one.
MiatsuZ is just looking clean right now on this Apollo. I am terrified to see what he's going to be capable of when he starts rotating. Especially since JuicyJimmy is looking like he's starting to hit his stride, honestly, here in the jungle. Even after a couple of slip-ups, getting caught invaded and such.
Yep, but everyone's going to be secure in their camps. And it looks like a potential gank onto solo lane. Noxus jumps in, ults the Sylvanas. Sylvanas doesn't have beads. Starts to carry him a bit back towards the tower. But Lanston doesn't have ult yet. Is he going to get it? No, doesn't even need to use it. The Sylvanas falls again. Did end up going with that Shogun's.
That's always going to be one of the things that I find kind of tough when you're playing against these Guardian solo lane matchups. You're having to build this magic defense because you're spending most of your time in lane against a magic damage character. And then the jungler shows up and just messes it all up for you because you're like, dang, if I was in the right situation, some physical defense would have been great right now.
Yep, but already you're seeing the anti-heal start to come out. Tainted Steel by Lanston.
Thank you.
Which is honestly not enough against healers, in my opinion.
Well, I feel like in this comp, you know, everyone talks about anti-heal being a feels bad. No one likes building anti-heal, especially, I mean, Thoth just finished Divine Ruin.
Oh, we love building Divine.
We love Divine.
Oh, it's
honestly,
nice. Good power pen.
Overlooked item, in my opinion. Obviously, it's still circumstantial. There are better pen options, but whenever you've got a healer on the table,
feeling Divine doesn't feel bad.
But anyways,
pulling the Fury.
With 3 healers on the board, Tainted Steel is honestly just a great option, in my opinion.
Yep. Ganesha looking to potentially gank this Apollo, but just gonna back up. Thinks otherwise. Apollo's gonna back. Everyone's just gonna keep going about their farm.
Grouping up right now. Looks like most of the players are hovering towards the mid and right. We could start seeing
an attempted pyro.
There's plenty of ward coverage from both teams, it looks like, on the Gold Fury at the moment. So we could end up seeing, excuse me, either a pyro or Gold Fury pull anywhere in the next 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah. Once those oracles fall off, so I was gonna just walk up the Gold Fury. And that ward in the pit, that little blue ward you see there, that's the oracles.
Yeah.
So once that falls, Skog's got free visions. They've got the sentry.
I think right now in the position that Trash Pandas are in, I think it'd be best to see them try to pull this one first. Especially since you have the Apollo right now with this decent lead over in the duo lane. But not just that, you have the Emoja ult to contest with. You've got the Hunbot's ult right now.
They're trying to gank the Apollo, but they're going to spot out the Emoja and just decide to back off.
They're looking for something.
Oh, but they're coming up behind the Sunbats now. He's going to have to jump into the tower. I don't know if that would have been a stun. I don't know if he has his runes up, but that could have been very unfortunate for the Hunbats if he didn't leap out when he did.
Both of these junglers have looked really good in both of these games so far. I think JuicyJimmy really bringing a lot to the table for his team right now, making some good rotations. His ultimates have been pretty nice. Same for Noxus though. I think every gank I've seen him pull, he's come out with a kill or an assist. I don't think he's missed a beat on any of his rotations.
They're gonna fall. Just to get a little bit of extra gold and XP. I doubt the Pandas are going to be trying to hard siege a tower this early in a full 5-on-5.
I like to think of it as a time saver. You know, 10% mitigations on your towers, and plus helping it do a little bit more damage to clear out some of his minions. It's going to help keep that tower
going to come up behind. Little burst heal there.
Not a soft.
Thought's charging ult, gonna let it rip, connects onto the Raw. Raw tried to ult, but didn't have time to get it off. Unbat's gonna be following, dropping the Fear No Evil. Noxus is keeping on going, and his team's not following. Solid pick onto SatinGraph there. Tried to get the ult off. Channel time was just too long. Got destroyed by the Thoth ult. See you in about 15 more seconds.
Yeah, and he took a straight Thoth ult to the face right there. And
Yep.
Thoth ult from minute 5 to minute 25 is going to hit you for more damage than you're ever going to be ready for. It's the only way to look at it.
Yep, and it's got so much range too because of the wall.
I'm just trying to make friends.
Lanston, you gotta know he's not gonna let you back there.
iiZakore's kind of being a little bit of a bully right now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Kind of rude.
I mean, he can see the Cerberus doesn't have a whole lot of mana left, and oh, but Fenrir's coming on in. Cerberus, all he's gonna fall.
Live my life full of love and joy.
Classic bait.
Yep.
Come get me. I have no mana.
Yep. Lanston using his own life as a hey, why don't you stick around? Come on. Because he knows Noxus is on the way. Noxus didn't even have to burn ult there.
So again, I've said this before. Noxus has just looked really good right now in the jungle today.
Yep, and that's a solid blue buff invade. Hurts a little bit less on Sylvanas because you've got the flower, but you've lost your tower, you've lost your buff. Your Raw's gonna get collapsed on, taking these mid harpies. Beads are still down. Thoth ult connects.
Look at that. SatinGraph just gets destroyed.
Ooh, beautiful dash, beautiful stun. Teleport coming in.
iiZakore just coming back off a respawn with that teleport as well. Ready to
Back by
fight again.
Cerberus. I would love to see it fall onto the Gold Fury. Cerberus ult's coming back up. You've got Ganesh ult. You've got his Anami ult. You can just force a fight if you want to. You just have to be careful. You have to try and bait the Hunbat's ult beforehand. Because otherwise, they're just going to destroy the fight.
And Skogs has come through right now with a very clear game plan. As soon as they saw the Raw, they put a lot of focus on this mid lane so far. I say, but Sylvanas has died 3 times. But I mean, it's Sylvanas. How hard is it to gank a tree?
Yeah.
But they put quite a bit of focus into this mid lane here in the mid game. I mean, Satin's died twice in the last, I don't know, 3-4 minutes.
They're going to start pulling the Gold Fury. Jimmy's hanging out with ult though, so they have to be careful because if he ults them and then Raw is in range with ult, but Thoth is going to ult, they're not going to be able to get it off. Cerberus pulls in the Hunbats, but he just jumps right back out. But they're going to keep, Fenrir just keeps jumping on in and this team's not even near him.
His ult is ready, so whatever he finds, he's going to grab and bring back. But what he ends up finding is not what he wants, and unfortunate ult from Warlock there. Mojo ult just about a second too late.
Yep, gonna get some good poke out by the Thoth. 2-man stunned by the Sylvanas tree. But it looks like Skogs maybe want this tier 1 tower, but Izanami's not there. They're not gonna be able to get it.
It's a very slow burn. You definitely need that ADC. Speaking of the ADCs, as we finally check back in with these guys, both of them highest level for their teams.
Yeah,
Izanami hit 18 before Fenrir.
Just kind of hanging out, farming.
Yeah, and it seems like both teams are content to just let their ADCs have their lane. It's been very quiet from both sides. Both of them are just taking their sweet time, getting...
Skogs are gonna pull the Pyromancer, but pretty soft pull. They're more looking for the fight, it appears.
It's gonna be interesting to see when these hunters rotate. I say as the hunter comes right in onto the fight.
Fear no evil, Cerberus ult, big Raw. Lots of damage coming off of this Raw, but the Djungleskogs are the ones taking the fight. But Ganesha's gonna fall here. Sylvanas ult just onto the Ganesha. 2-for-2 trade, but you gotta say that favors the Pandas. Or not the Pandas, the Skogs, I'm sorry. Yeah, they lose their mid laner, but they lose their support as opposed to losing the hunter and jungler. And iiZakore's just going to split down this tower.
Did she even get this tier 2?
Oh, yeah.
She's going to have to commit to tower damage, but yeah. Wow. And I was going to say, MiatsuZ, I mean, he's looked good all season. Definitely a great player for the role. But in that instance, I feel like he committed a little too hard for himself to end up dying the way he did. I think as soon as he hit the ground, everyone just turned towards him. And sure, I mean, you know, you're going to land on them and knock them up, and your team's probably going to follow up. But your team's going to follow up at... Your team didn't follow up fast enough in that situation, it looked like.
So we have got 4 anti-heal items. The perfect amount, in my opinion. You've got Tainted Steel, probably going into Breastplate. 2 Pestilences. 1 on Noxus, 1 on Palm Top. And the Divine Ruin.
Yeah, these
Perfect
guys are
amount of
definitely...
anti-heal, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely enough
Hunter-
anti-heal across the board.
Hunters, don't build anti-heal. Don't do it.
Still seeing some interesting builds from both the hunters, by the way. Dominance gets picked up after Rage for MiatsuZ.
I like it. You need the pen, honestly. I mean, I would have preferred you go a different pen item, but I don't think the Dominance is.
Oh, what an ult.
Oh, but Fear No Evil coming out. But he's gonna walk out on 1 HP, and Jimmy's gonna be the one to fall. J-Man getting out on 1 HP. And this could be a quick reset into a Pyro pull, but MiatsuZ's now going to be the one to split push. He's going to be the one to take the tier 2 tower this time and walk up to the tier 2 tower.
iiZakore is still hovering around.
Yep, MiatsuZ is just going to recall. So kind of the opposite of what we saw last fight. This time, Sypha rotates over, but instead of the Skogs losing when their hunter rotates over, they take the advantage of the fight, and J-Man barely escapes that. Beautiful escape by J-Man getting out on 1 HP. And now they're going to be the one. Skogs are going to be pulling the Pyromancer. MiatsuZ still has ult, but no one else is in position to follow up on a fight if MiatsuZ were to try and defend that objective.
Yeah, and there's that lack of ward coverage again from that we keep seeing, that we kept seeing from Trash Pandas, kind of coming back to haunt them once again as Pyromancer goes down.
Spawning within 30 seconds. Yep, Primal Fury is up. MiatsuZ's already there, making sure, hey, we didn't have vision on this. I'm going to make sure we have vision on it now. And now they're going to start to pull it. Raw heal, giving it extra protections and power. This is just going to go down. This is just a free Primal Fury.
And again, there's that lack of ward coverage, but this time it's actually on the Skogs this time, and not on the Trash Pandas. So, Pyro for Primal trade, and even though Skogs are definitely sitting in the lead right now as far as gold is concerned, kind of end up losing out on that trade.
Yeah, that can't be happening. You're 5-6k up on the side of the Skogs. There's no reason they should be getting a free Primal Fury.
Well, we're going to see them hover around the Fire Giant, the only remaining neutral objective left on the map. Unless you're counting the Draugr, but, I mean, I've never seen someone freak out about a Draugr buff, so...
Hey, Draugr diff is important, and that's why Sypha's going to be going for it. You never know when Draugr will be most important.
It can be the difference between winning and losing a team fight under tower.
The Pandas are all grouped up in this jungle now. They've got the healers. They can sneak any objective they want. And
Look
it looks
at
like
that,
they're going to
they're
start.
doing it.
Yep, and they're starting the Fire Giant. They've got the heals on the Sylvanas Yemoja Ra. They've got the contest secured. But the Djungleskogs are going to pop their frenzy and go on in. Yemoja ult pop, trapping them in, but Noxus ends up ulting. Ra ult connecting on Lanston. Lanston's going to fall. But Noxus is just going to carry the tree back, jump on in on the Yemoja, brutalize, follow the kill. And that is a 3-for-1 trade. If I'm on the side of the Skogs, I'm okay if Lanston dies, because it's only the Raw and the Hunbatsen. They both used ult. And now the Skogs are going to be making their way to the Fire Giant, collecting their prize.
Beautifully played from the Skogs. I mean, walks right in. Great engage from Mylantson. Kind of starts creating a lot of space, getting that disruption, and then just forces them off the objective, chases them out a little bit, finds the kills, ends up being 3 going down, and, you know, Sylvanas only can do so much as he continues to not build defense.
Karen's coin.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a tough one.
So, Mylantson has upgraded the Tainted Steel into the Tainted Amulet. So going for the magical protection there. Over the physical. Still get some physical protection, but if you're going the Amulet, you're more going for the magical, which, understandable. You've got the Raw, Yemoja, and the Sylvanas.
I think it's also just trying to double up on Cerberus passive, because that's the unique thing about Tainted Amulet, is that it functions very similar to how Cerberus's own passive works. Not the worst thing he could have built there. I agree, Breastplate might have been the better call, but there also is 3 magical characters on the side of Trash Pandas that are going to be dealing damage to you at any given point.
Here lives a happy little tree.
Yep. So, a team fight going to be breaking out here on this tier 2 Yemoja only trapping in the Ganesha, but Ganesha can just dash out. iiZakore's going to fall. Double kill for Sypha. Triple kill as she picks up Yemoja, Apollo, and Sylvanas. And they're just going to look to run it down solo lane.
That was huge plays from...
Quadra kill coming out for Sypha on the Izanami. Will they get it? Lanston the pentakill.
Whoa, Ganesh, where you going? You got a Phoenix to take down.
And that's going to be an end call.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be an end game. 1 tower left, the Phoenix just goes down. 27 minutes, they cleaned this one up faster than they did the first game.
You know,
there's not really a whole lot you can say about that.
I was really excited. I thought I was going to get a call pentakill right there.
Would have been nice.
I was ramping up for it. I was like, oh, I'm going to get the call of penta. Lanston just tells me no, ruins all my fun. Really good game by the Skogs, though.
We need to have a talk about that with him. We can't let him. We can't keep letting him do that.
If they win next week, their first seed is now confirmed. Their first seed dreams of getting that ride right into the semis is in their own hands.
Yeah, and I mean that ties up the records too on the Skogs.
Yeah. They're both 7-1 going into the final week of regular season play.
Yeah, we got 1 more week to go, and then we go into relegations, which neither of these teams have nothing to worry about. They're not going to relegations at all.
None of them are going to the gauntlet.
But still, great game from Skogs. They're looking like one of the strongest teams in Loki division right now. You know, it looks like, honestly, I mean, Trash Pandas had a really good game. They looked really good in game 2, or game 1, I mean. Game 2, it seemed like they had a little bit of a fall off there. But again, this is a whole, almost brand new roster. I think it's only been in this roster for a week now, and we had an off week last week due to some other issues.
Both these teams looking to be in a really good spot going into playoffs.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, if this ends up being, I would like to see these two fight off in the semis, to be honest. Not a finals. I don't want to see them in the end. I want to see a semis game between these two. Because that'll really show the hunger that's going to be coming with it.
There's still a chance.
But does this confirm first and second seed for playoffs guaranteed?
It does not guarantee it.
Okay.
So as of right now, it's the Skogs in first and the Pandas in second. But they're both 7-1.
Right.
So if Pandas win next week and Skogs lose, Pandas still get first seed. But
oh no, I mean like
The Skogs' first seed hopes are in their own hands.
I meant more along the lines of like, both of these teams are guaranteed to be either first or second seed. Like, let's say both of these teams lose tomorrow. Is there a third place team that can come up in the bracket and suddenly take second seed from whoever's in second right now?
I would have to look at how the other sets of the day went and who has records over who and who hasn't played who yet.
Oh, okay.
Because going into this week, Ghost, Ducks, and Ice Age are all 5-2.
Okay.
But I know Pandas and Ducks both have records over Ice Age. I don't know the records on Ducks and Ghost. So I would have to do some looking into that and look at some numbers.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. I was hoping maybe we'd have a pretty clear indicator. But even if all three of those teams are 5-2 and one of them got the win, and so now they're 6-2, that would mean that
they would have to win.
I think that means that these. Yeah, I think that no matter how you swing it, I think both of these teams, because even now, Trash Pandas was coming in with an undefeated record for this game. So I think even if Skogs lose and Trash Pandas wins, this is confirmed to be our first and second seed.
Yeah.
No matter what.
The odds of these two not being the top two seeded teams are very low, if not impossible.
So this
I did not do the maths coming into the set.
Well, Matt, aside, I'm just going to say, I'm pretty sure this is going to be our first and second seed. So congratulations to both these teams for guaranteeing themselves first and second seed. If I'm wrong, please don't witch hunt me. Anyways, it was a great game, though, to watch. Great game to cast. Mammoth, I appreciate you having me here, and I appreciate you being here with me. I want to say thank you to Jordan for being our cameraman today. And is there anything else you want to say before we close this out?
Everyone have a good night, a good week. I hope you all had a good weekend. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and have a good night.
And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and close down the stream. To everybody, thank you for watching. Join us next weekend. We'll be here for the final weeks of regular season. Loki division, Thor division, Odin division, Ratatasker division, excuse me. I didn't forget. I just didn't say it. Make sure you all are here to see all those. And we'll be here ready to cast another game for y'all next week. Thank you and good night.